Good morning, folks. It is 8:07 on Saturday the 1st, and the fast has started. And we're gonna have a talk in a minute, but let me show you something over here. Let me see if hopefully the battery will keep going. What the hell is going on with that? Oh, here we go. Okay, show you something. Whoa, shit! We don't want that. Those zoomies. Look, they're looking at Knucklehead. I just fed her. There you go, it's a little bit better. But we're gonna look out the window here real quick. I'll show you something. So, this is my little picnic table back out here. I'm going to zoom out to it, okay? Now, the picnic table has a bunch of sunflower seeds and bird seeds and all kinds. But I'm like going, why is there anything on that table right now? What? Well, looky right here. Looky right there. That, my friends, is a great big white cat waiting to eat. He's waiting to eat. He's waiting for a bird to start landing on there and get all comfortable and get about 20 birds out there, and he runs out there and gets him something to eat. Okay? So, more power to him. This is my Knucklehead. She's coming back up in the window again. She's a trip. What you doing, Poopy? Huh? This is the poops. This is the poops. Look, she looks at her boyfriend out there, I think. Yep, Prissy's got a boyfriend, a little Knucklehead. Alright, I'm gonna get this back up here to the table. As usual, kitchen's kind of an explosion, so hope you're not offended. And if you are, well, you know, turn off the video. Yeah. I mean, you know, I'd love for you to stay, but if you're offended, I don't want you to be offended, you know. But it ain't gonna get no better. Alright, well, let's see if I can get my head in the frame this time. Maybe I can't, but anyway, we'll see. Alright, well, it's been 11 days since I posted a video. What's been going on? What the hell have you been doing, Phil? Where you been? What's been happening? You been in jail? Were you arrested? What's up? Well, no, I wasn't arrested. No, I'm gratefully not stupid enough to go out. Well, first off, the most prevalent way I'd be arrested is speeding down the highway, which thankfully I'm a little bit smarter now than I was a long time ago. So, no. As far as drinking goes, I can't drink. I can't drink alcohol. Whatever happened 2 years ago when I was drinking a gallon of wine a week and drinking a little bit of beer. I did that for about 6 weeks because the wine was, it's a gallon bottle you get from Walmart. It's sweet wine. I think it's Gallo. Maybe it's Gallo. I think it's Gallo. I don't remember what the brand name is. But that shit's like, doesn't have a high alcohol content. But it tastes like grape drink. It didn't get me drunk. But what it did do was it damaged the circulatory system in my legs. And caused my legs to swell up. And that's something I'm carrying today. That freaked me the fuck out. So every time I drink alcohol now, I mean, I have to be careful what I eat because my legs will start swelling up. Anyway, today we're having, this is coffee, this is decaf, this is actually, let me get that. Yeah. This is Giant Breakfast Blend Decaf. It's the cheapest they had in the store. It's their store brand. And it's actually pretty damn good. And I'm having a little bit of organic promised something half and half and just a dip of organic, no sugar. And this over here is my home tea. And yes, I have 2 of these. Because I took this to the bed and then I made this when I got up this morning because I'm too stupid to remember anything anymore. But anyway. So I got plenty of home tea here for me. And put that up there. Put this back this way. There we go. All right. So, anyway, what's been happening in the last 11 days? Well, unfortunately, something pretty serious happened for my boss. And where I work is, we run a warehouse for our company. And actually, my boss runs a warehouse for our company. I do service work, and he schedules my service work for me to do. We recently downsized our operation, and it's just him and me. Now we have several other offices in the area, and we subcontract out our jobs to do for installation, furniture installations, to a lot of great companies with a lot of great people, you know. But unfortunately, I would say about 11 days ago, my boss's wife had to fly out to Colorado to where her mother was in the hospital. When her mother's 90 years old. My boss is 70, his wife is 70. That's the general age of them. I don't want to get into specifics, but anyway, they're both 70. My boss has COPD from a lifelong cigarette addiction, but he works like nobody's business, man. And the thing is with my boss is, I don't know how he does this. He can smoke, 5 cigarettes a day, and he doesn't smell like cigarettes. He doesn't smell like. I don't know how he does that, but he does it. He smokes his cigarettes, goes out and comes back in and he works. He gets on his computer. He does his communications with all our departments, and he's just and he builds chairs. He receives product. He drives a forklift. He moves boxes. He unloads trucks. He loads trucks. If I need him to help me on jobs, he comes out and helps me on jobs. He installs furniture. He deals with clients. This guy is amazing. He's amazing. And my heart is with him and his wife right now because they're dealing with the loss of his wife's mother. And don't ever believe what this fucking media likes to spray into the world about mother-in-laws. My boss loves his mother-in-law, and he loves his wife dearly. And last Sunday, his mother-in-law, his wife's mother, died after being in the hospital for about a month and a half, being treated for an injury she had to her leg. And I mean, this brings something up to me about when you go into the hospital, what they feed you in large part kills you, because I'm a big proponent of the carnivore diet on this planet, but what I'm about to show you here has nothing to do with the carnivore diet. You can't eat what I'm about to show you. But I'm going to do a little pizza review while we're finishing this. This is going to be a long video. I haven't shot any videos in 11 days. I've just been sort of had my head down, go to work, pray every day for my boss, for his wife. Now, that's my boss with the COPD. He smokes his cigarettes, he coughs a bit, but he keeps going, man. He's like the Energizer Bunny of work, you know? And we're respectful of each other, okay? I consider myself his friend. But if I fuck up, he'll fire me in a heartbeat, okay? He's just that way. And if he has to fire me, if the company says, hey, you know, we're terminating Phil's position, tell him thank you, you know, they'll fire me, okay? But that's just the reality of work. I'm not there to be somebody's buddy. I'm there to do a job, to do it well, to make the customer happy, to show the company I work for well, to do my job. And that's the way we relate to each other, because we come from the same generation. Now, his generation, where he grew up in his family was pretty much dirt poor. And the only way they made it was by banding together, his brothers and him, and working with his dad. And his dad was hardcore. And they worked at every menial fucking job you could work at. I mean, he was talking about they mowed grass and they did every menial job you could possibly work at. It's back in the 60s. And they were poor, but they made it. But instilled in him through that was the fact that you're not going to get anywhere unless you work for it. And nobody owes you shit. You have to do a job to earn a pay, to get the money, to pay the bills. There's no, you just show up and you get paid. It doesn't work that way, okay? And that's the way he grew up. And I respect that, 'cause that's the way my dad grew up. And that's the way my mom grew up. And that's kind of the way I grew up, which I've been fucking up going up to this fucking track and losing money. But, you know, hopefully that's getting better. Anyway, so he's a great, in my eyes, he's only like 5 years older than me. Well, I think he's 5. Anyway, he's 5 years older than me. He looks like he's 75, but he still works like a champion. Okay, let's get to his wife. His wife is amazing. His wife is, like I said, 70. She has multiple sclerosis. She has MS. It hasn't progressed to where she is an invalid. The doctors are giving her medicine for it. Now, another thing is my boss is on every heart medicine you can think of. He says he takes like 10 medicines a day. So the medical community's got my boss by balls, you know. But the one thing I would say, I asked him, he is on blood thinners. Here's something you need to know. Here's something I'm going to say about blood thinners. I'm not a doctor, but it seems to me that the people who take blood thinners, that the consequences of the jab do not affect them as much as people who don't take blood thinners. I think that the blood clotting situation that the jab created in people is sort of made less by people who take blood thinners. So, I mean, blood thinners are toxic as fuck, but some people have to have it if they have AFib, which is a irregular heartbeat, and there are a variety of things that you can have that blood thinners will fix. One thing I would say to anybody who has recurrent leg pains, if you have recurrent leg pains, especially below your knees, and you have legs that are swelling, you need to have your doctor check you. Go to your doctor, say, please check me for blood clots. Please see if I need to go on blood thinners. I think that my wife had been put on blood thinners way back when her leg problems first started. Maybe the blood thinners, I mean, I don't know. She went on blood thinners and they killed her in about 2 months. So it's hard for me to recommend blood thinners, but she had swollen legs, she had leg pains, and the doctor said it was fibromyalgia. They never really approached her about taking blood thinners. Anyway, if you have leg pains, please have your legs checked for blood clots. Okay. Anyway, so getting back to my boss, my boss who's with the COPD, he's great. His wife has MS. She is just like he is. She is the Energizer Bunny of working, and she works for one of the biggest heavy equipment rental firms in America, and she is amazing. She's also all woman. She loves to cook. She loves to cook for her kids. She cooks for us at work. My boss brings in big trays of cookies and stuff to us. He says, I can't eat all these. He says she cooks this stuff. I told her, I said, I don't eat that much. And my boss, very strange about my boss who smokes with the COPD. The way he works, the way he lives his life, he doesn't eat during the day. He is actually following a fasting lifestyle. He eats in the morning, and then he doesn't eat for the rest of the day. And it's not because he intentionally does a fasting lifestyle. It's because he doesn't want to be taking a break from work to eat. That's how dedicated he is to working. When he starts working, he keeps working through the whole day. Now, he'll have a couple cigarettes. He might have his coffee. He drinks his coffee, which, by the way, I'm going to have a sip. And that's about it. Which made me laugh because everybody wants to kiss his ass at our offices. Hey, I'm coming down. I'm going to buy you lunch. And he goes, I don't eat lunch. And what that does is, that takes away that little, because they always, when they're doing this shit, they're always trying to sort of grease him up to crap on him, you know. I'm going to come down there, we're going to talk, and blah, 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 blah. And then I'm going to stick it to you. And he knows it, you know. He's like, nah. It's all right. You can talk to me and tell me what you need to without no food. Because I don't eat lunch. He doesn't. And so he's cool. He's just a wonderful human being. His wife with the MS is a wonderful human being too. And like I said, she works for one of the largest heavy equipment rental companies in the world. She can drive a backhoe. She could drive, if she needed to, she could drive a bulldozer. But my boss was telling me about times when they bought this house down in Richmond, and they had to have like, I want to say, I think he said 5 dump truck loads of topsoil brought in to make the yard not a mess of mud. And she got her rental company to bring a backhoe in, and she used the backhoe, and she smoothed it out. And he tried to get on the backhoe, and his wife said, "Get out of the way." She got on the backhoe, she moved the dirt out, spreaded it out, and she's used several other pieces of their heavy equipment at their home to do what they had to do. So she's awesome. Well, her mother had come down on a trip to see the family, and her mother had been in Colorado, and my boss had been telling her mother for years, had said, come down to Richmond, come down, move in with us, please. I have a apartment underneath the house that you can you can move into. We have a room upstairs if you want to move into that. Please come down and move in with us. And she just refused because her mother lived in a home that her mother's husband had built. And the remembrances of her mother's husband was in that home, and she was just stuck there. She wasn't going to move there. And my boss cracks me up when he talks to me. He says, This is Phil, it's nothing special. Like, I hate to tell you, but it's not It's not the optimal home. There's nothing remarkable about this place other than the memories in the home, which, but this is another thing about my boss. He's always, now he's gruff, he's hardcore, but he's not that way to anybody else as far as in matters of the heart. It's a weird thing about this guy. I mean, 3 years ago, his wife's son, who was living with them for about 10 years, who was visually impaired, he was pretty much blind. They took care of that. This guy was like 50 years old. He was a 50-year-old man who was blind. He was living with them for like 10 years. My boss tried to get him into like Lighthouse for the Blind, get him every way to teach him how to be an independent blind person, And her son refused. He actually believed what. Now his wife never said this, but other people said it. Well, your senses are going to get better when you go blind. You're going to be able to get around without any help, And my boss was like, "Oh my God, please don't tell him this kind of crap." But he was just determined. He was a character, but my boss loved having him there to take care of him, so they could keep an eye on him for his wife, who was this young man. Who I call him 50. As a young man, this young man, which was my boss's wife's son, they took care of him because they wanted to take care of him, but my boss specifically because Connie, his wife, loved her son with every part of her being. Well, about 3 years ago, I think after taking the jab, he passed away in his sleep. And it just tore his wife to pieces. It just tore her to pieces. Even today, the downstairs has been kept as kind of a memorial to her son. He's tried several times to remove the non-personal items out of the basement, and she just won't have it. She doesn't like him going down there at all. It's kind of like her place to remember her son. And now, last Sunday, her mother died after being in the hospital for about a month and a half. She came down about 2.5 months ago. She came down to Richmond to be with the family. Now, she was living up in Colorado in that home that her husband made, all by herself, all alone. And she was becoming a shut-in, and everybody in the family that cared about her was concerned. And my boss was reaching out to her. Her daughter was reaching out to her. My boss's wife was reaching out to her and saying, "Look, come down here, live with us. Live with us. Come on. Please, we love you. We want you to be around, okay?" She had a son who lived up there who was a little bit too busy to be involved with his mother's life. Well, anyway, she came down and she got an injury to her leg. And this injury was pretty bad. But it actually showed the state of her circulatory system. That she got an injury to her leg. The injury required a skin graft. This injury happened in Richmond. They took her to the hospital in Richmond right away. She got treatment right away. My boss said, "Please stay here with us. Please stay here with us. I'm begging you." She wouldn't do it. She had to go back to Colorado. My boss's mother had to fly back to Colorado. When she got back to Colorado, she went back in the hospital, came back out of the hospital, became a shut-in again. And she went back in the hospital right away. She stayed there until she died. And unfortunately, um, what they feed you in the hospital can kill you. Because, and I can't say this enough, I don't follow the diet right now, but it's called the carnivore diet. If you look at Dr. Sean Baker, if you look at Steak and Butter Gal, if you look at Old Carnivore Guy, if you look at Max German, these 4 YouTubers are blazing a trail trying to get people to understand that your body is predominantly, we're carnivores. We're meat eaters. Our body does best when we eat meat or we eat wild caught seafood. We don't do well when we eat manufactured foods, which the bread in this pizza is a manufactured food. So anyway, 11 days ago, this was going on with my boss's wife had to fly out to Colorado, and this really wore on my boss. And he is not the kind of person, he never confides in me. It's none of my fucking business what's going on in this family. I don't pry. I can see it though. I could see the deterioration in my boss's health, because he was here when he wanted to be there with her, because his wife with the MS, stress makes MS flare up. And when you get MS, it becomes problems walking, moving. You can have a whole lot of problems, okay? And he was worried every day when she was out there without him being there. And he was worried for his stepmother. His mother-in-law. They wanted her to get better. I was praying for her to get better ever since I heard about this accident, because I could feel this kind of thing. We could all feel this kind of thing coming. It's a weird thing, man, when you see a death in the family coming, and you're like, oh man, please, let's not have this happen. Let's not have this happen. Let's not have this happen. Let's pray, let's pray, let's pray together. Come on. And it's not, don't ever think that when someone dies, it's that God didn't answer your prayers. Think that it's in God's plan that that person has to go home. And you don't get to have a choice about that. But in the interim, you hope and pray that their transition to that situation is as free of mental anguish and pain as possible. And her transition happened fairly quickly. And so last Sunday, she passed away. Well, so my boss got my schedule planned 3 weeks in advance. And we have other people in the company that are scheduling my work. And but we've been sort of, the last 11 days, I've been sort of going to work, doing my job, working for my boss, and then coming home, feeding my wonderful little knucklehead cat. Ain't no, oh, we got a cardinal, we got a couple little birdies. I don't think that cat's there anymore. Yeah, the cat moved on, that's why. Man, them cardinals are pretty. Bright red. Anyway, so he got my work schedule done 3 weeks in advance, and he flew out to his wife. And I was actually glad to see him go, because I could tell it was tearing his ass up being here when his wife was out there. And he never said a word to me about it. Like I said, he's old school people. Look, especially old school men. This all this shit about, oh, show your emotions and oh, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's bullshit. We don't do that. You know? We don't, going on a crying jag, I'm scared. And we just suck it up. And he sucked it up. And he didn't say a word. But I could see it. I could see it wearing on his health and worried. Man, he was worried. And so he flew out to his wife, and God bless him, he's out there, and his wife is just, when she when her mom passed away, it just tore her to pieces. And I didn't ask. This was last Monday, and he was talking about they had been scheduling for him to fly out on last Friday, and I knew it was bad because they were trying to. My boss, like I said, he loves to work and he hates to take time off for anything, but he would take time off for her. He said that if she ever calls me, I'm out. I'm gone. That's what he said. He did say that. He said, listen, I told him, I said, you know, one of the few times I said something to him, I said, man, you should be out there with right next to her, man. And he says, look, she calls me, I'm out there. I'm out of here. I'm gone. But she is just like him. She is a warrior of life. What is a warrior of life? A warrior of life is somebody who faces the challenges of life every day, never asks for anybody's damn help, and has faith in themselves that they're going to get through it. Part of that faith, although they don't talk about that, is that the good Lord is with them and will help them through everything. Now, neither of my boss or his wife are these big pronouncing Christians, but they have Christianity inside their soul right down to the very center of their soul. And their life example is what Christianity is about. Now, if you're a Muslim and you have the same kind of inner spirit, that is what your Muslim spirit's about. What your Islamic spirit's about is the life example of living an honorable life and taking care of your family and taking care of your loved ones. You know, it's a special place to be. And same thing with people who are Buddhist. I work with people who was out of Cambodia and Laos and Vietnam, and they were awesome people too. So, but anyway, so last Sunday her mom passed away, and he said, I'm going to fly out on next Tuesday. And that was on the Friday. I know that's confusing. But on Monday, I could tell on Tuesday he was heading out, and he was gearing up, you know. It's almost like a military maneuver with him. He had to get all my scheduling done. He had to get the company, everyone in the company has to be notified via email that you know, responsibilities are changing. And but on Monday, as I was heading out, he said, yeah, her mom died last night, which was last Sunday. And he just sort of quipped it out. He just sort of said it out real quick. And I said, well, damn. I said, yeah, I mean, you got to get out there. And my condolences. And that was where he ended it, right there. He didn't want to talk about it, you know, and I didn't push it. I could see it in his face. He didn't want to talk about it. So I didn't talk about it. So he's out there. So we've been sort of buried in that situation. I'm a part of it from the standpoint of I need to be as little a contributor to the grief he has to deal with as possible. So I worked as hard as I could do to do as good a job for my customers as possible. Came back in, when I talked to him, I was trying to add no more to the situation as possible. Just been chilling out, doing my job, coming home. I am trying to get sleep because that is my biggest sin right now, is not getting sleep. And that's something that can kill you. If you get on the computer and you start watching YouTube, which, you know, YouTube's awesome because you can, if you took amphetamines, you could watch YouTube until you started hallucinating, seeing lizards and shit run across the fucking computer, you know? I mean, you could stay up 4 days straight watching YouTube because there's billions and billions of different things to watch. Okay. So I've just been going to work, doing my job, coming home, eating, feeding the cat, going to sleep, getting up, and sort of living a little bit of abject terror here because I don't know what's happening in my future because I don't see after this, life is a strange thing where you see this kind of stuff happening. And I'm praying as God is my witness for his wife. Because after losing her son 3 years ago and grieving so much every day, but still being a warrior of life, going to work, doing her job, taking care of her husband. She loves her husband like no other. He loves his wife like no other. But something like this just tears you up. And it tears you up for a long time. And here's another thing. It affects women different than it affects men. It just does. Okay? In men, we'll go off, we'll pull the car over in the parking lot, we'll bawl like a freaking child. And when we get done bawling, we'll wipe a face off. We might have a cigarette. We might have a coffee. God knows, we might have a beer. And then we'll go on with our life. We'll just get to it. Women, it stays with women a long time. Because women feel everything from their heart. And the loss of her son, which I think that was her last surviving son, and now her mother, but the ace card in all this is that my boss loves her, and my boss's family loves her, and they're going to have to come together, and they're going to have to hold my boss's wife's spirit in their hands gently and hug her and help her get through this. So in that vein, that's what I was doing the last 11 days. I was just trying to not be any kind of problem for my boss. I was trying to just do my job, come home, not be on the internet much, and I apologize to anybody I didn't do your comments for. I hope you're okay. So it's been kind of a fucked up week for 2 weeks, especially last Sunday. We were hoping and praying. I was hoping and praying, man. But unfortunately, our medical, my view of this is, as soon as she went into hospital, as soon as they started feeding her hospital food, they pretty much killed her. Because you put a person who's elderly on medications, and they had her on all kinds of medications. You don't feed her a high-fat diet. If you don't feed her a high animal fat diet, her body starts going into a downward spiral. And what that does is, what that diet does, and then they start hitting her with all this artificial crap. They'll give her diet sodas to drink, which have the aspartame in them. All of this shit adds up to killing somebody. Because what happens is it makes them confused. The medicine, it attacks their body. It's supposed to attack what's hurting them, which it does, but it also attacks their brain, the way their brain works. It makes them not want to live. And that was the cycle that happened. In any case, so that's where we've been. My heart right now is with my boss and with his wife, and they're currently doing the funeral arrangements, doing the final wrap-up of her belongings, her mother's belongings, which include a house. My boss is not one of these people that he doesn't give a fuck about belongings. He doesn't. He doesn't give a fuck about money, because they both work their butts off. They have enough money. They're very responsible people. They haven't splurged their money. They haven't wasted it. They've invested it. They've saved it. So they're well off. But they're well off because of 50, well, let's just say, well, in my boss's case, 60 years of just working steady. Yes, he's been working since he was 10 years old, like crazy. And she probably has too. But they don't waste their money. But they're wrapping up their belongings, and my boss said he'll be back to work in probably a week or so. I kind of think when he comes back, he's going to have to be more at home with his wife than he thinks he is. Because I don't think she needs to be alone now. I think she needs to be, and that's, you know what? Who gives a fuck what I think, you know? Maybe she needs to be alone. Maybe she needs to go to work and forget about it, you know? Because that's part of the reason why I don't talk to him about this shit. Because one of the reasons you go to work is so you can forget about that shit for a couple hours. You can get into what you're doing, and nobody reminds you of the bad things you know you're going to have to deal with. And that's why I didn't say a whole lot to him while he was coming to work. I was like, you know what, this is none of my affair, other than I care about the man and his wife and his family. But it's not for me to get in the middle of it, okay? So that's where we're at. My health, I haven't done a workout in what? Well, this is the first. So 6 from 31 is what? 25? So 25 days. Yes, tonight I'm going to do the workout. What's happened with my health? My health has been stable. My stomach muscles are screaming at me going, hey, you idiot. You need to get back on the workout. My legs have been a little sore. My hands have been a little sore. So I'm paying a price for sitting on my ass on the workout. So I'm going to get back to the workout. All right, so now we've gone, what, an hour and a half probably since I was talking about that? But it was something I wanted to tell about how life can put things in your situation, and you just have to help somebody else get through it by not being in their way and by just doing your job and not opening your mouth about what they're going through, and just do your job, you know? And that's what I did. Did my job, came home, fed the cat, blah, blah, blah. Don't see no squirrels out there. But, so there we are. So let's start this pizza review, okay? We're going to go from worst to first, okay? So the last, say, 10 days, I haven't felt like cooking a bunch of stuff. I did cook some, like 3 batches of fries in that air fryer. And we thank Corey for that. One was seasoned fries, and another one was regular fries. And what I found out with that was, first off, you don't got to spray. If you got air fryer instructions on the package, I don't think you need to spray the stuff with oil. I think it's already sprayed with oil from the manufacturer. Anyway, I didn't have to. And I actually used the instructions on the package, and the 390 degrees, which is what it usually comes up to when you put air fryer, that's the temperature I use. And then I use the temperature, I mean the time span they say to use. And it comes out pretty good. If I try to use their temperature, it doesn't cook it enough. Like, I think one set of French fries that I was cooking, it said use 360 for like, I think it was 15 to 17 minutes. And that wasn't enough. I pulled the stuff out and I said, this is not cooked enough. So I just went back to 390 for 4 more minutes, and that finished it up enough to eat them. And they were pretty good. But, so we're going to start with this pizza review. So, worst to first. So this is a Papa John's pizza that cost me $25 freaking dollars. It was 24 something. We can about just say $25. This was a stuffed crushed pepperoni pizza large. Well, extra large. Okay? That's extra large. Okay? And it cost me $25. And that sucker was tasteless. The bread was tasteless. The mozzarella and the stuffed crust was tasteless. The pepperoni was tasteless. The sauce was, I was surprised because their sauce is usually sweet. It has a lot of sugar in it. That was tasteless. I was like, wait a minute. Usually I don't like this pizza because it's so sweet, but I can't even taste it to hate it. And the only thing I can think of is, you know, Papa John said, when they kicked his ass off the board, they said, you wait, you watch what's going to happen to this product. Because he knew they were going for cheaper ingredients. And why do you do that? Well, that's because you spread out. When you have a cheaper ingredients and it becomes cheaper to make, you can give more money to the CEO and the executive vice presidents. See? Because what you do is you spread the profit margin out from what you're charging the customer. And I'll be honest with you, the only reason I got this Papa John pizza is because there's a young man on YouTube who makes short videos, and he's funny as hell. And he is the only reason I spent $25 on that pizza. He says, we make it better. That's how he ends his videos. We make it better. And he's funny as shit. So that's the only pizza, Papa John's pizza, I'll be buying for a long time because it was stank. It was not better. It was not better. So here we go to Newman's. This is a frozen pizza. Newman's, thin and crispy pizza, and 100% profits help the kids. That's what it says. That's what they like. 100% profits helps the kids. Okay. Well, about 3 years ago, about 3 years ago, I bought this pizza and I cooked it up, and it was pretty tasty, I gotta admit. But this ain't the same pizza I got before. They followed the same thing that Papa John's have followed. Getting the cheapest bread, getting the cheapest mozzarella, getting the cheapest cheese, getting the cheapest sauce. But I will say one thing, this pizza here had more flavor per slice than that Papa John's pizza, okay? Which ain't saying much. Now this pizza, this is a large pizza from Charlestown, from their food court. And I got this, I'm gonna say I got this maybe 2 weeks ago. Might have been longer than that. Anyway, I got, because of my food credits on my card, I got this. This pizza's $35. Now, these two Newman pizzas, these were on sale for $6, so I got two for $12. Papa John's pizza was $25. I was kind of shocked when I got it, and I went, oh, okay, that's an extra large, okay. So this is a large pizza from the food court at Charlestown, and it's pretty damn good, I gotta admit. But this pizza will knock you back about $32.50, okay, $32.50. I got it for free. And the irony was, when I left out of there, I took one of these pizzas, and there's two guards. It's always, usually one guard, but there was two guards there that day. And I had one of them pizzas, and I was taking it home. I said, you know what, I can't take this to my buddy who's, it was too late to take the pizza to my buddy whose family, I got a buddy who's fighting cancer. And right now he can't eat. And I don't feel right taking a pizza down to him if he can't eat it. So I just gave the pizza, one of the pizzas, to one of the guards at the front counter when you walk into Charlestown. And he appreciated it. He was cracking up. That was pretty good pizza, gotta admit. Pretty good pizza. And that pizza warmed up in the air fryer really good. But the king of pizzas down here, where I live at, is Marco's Pizza. And this was a pepperoni magnifico pizza. Damn, I got a mess on the table here. And this pizza was, I thought it was only like $13, but actually 14. Oh my God, I cannot see. $14.66, okay? It was $14.66. This was a pepperoni magnifico pizza. That was an amazing tasting pizza. The bread tasted good. The mozzarella tasted good. The sauce tasted good. The pepperonis were cupped and cooked and burnt on top and crunchy. Woo! That's the winner, baby! DeMarco's Pizza was the winner. It was. I gotta tell you. That was awesome. I even got a little bit of the pizza still left here on the table. Great. So that's where we're at. I'm gonna get back to making. We'll get back to making pizzas. I'm gonna get back to making videos. Situation's kind of worked itself out, unfortunately, not the way we want it to. But I always tell people this. I say, you know what? We don't get to choose what life brings to us. We just have to get through it, you know. And as we're doing that, we got to have a heart about things. We have to love our loved ones, and we have to, you know, think about our loved ones and make sure that they're taken care of. And the worst possible thing you can do when you're going through stuff like this is to lean back on cheats, which a cheat is something like leaning back on a drug or leaning back on, well, in my case, it would be going to Charlestown, which I'm going to Charlestown today, but I will be probably getting 5 beef fried rice, and I will be probably taking that down to my buddy's family and check in and say, look, here you go, pal, maybe you can eat a couple nips of it. This will help your family not have to buy food for a day or so, and y'all can spread that out how you want to, and it'll help me go see how he's doing, because I haven't checked in with him for a couple of weeks. And I'm really just scared, because man, he's really dealing with it. And daggone it, where is that little? There it is. Okay. All right, I got my little happy. I like this little bowl. This pretty little bowl. We had a couple of Liberty Blue Old North Church, made in England. So we got these plates are cool as shit. My wife's aunt had these. So what are we having for supplements today? Well, we're having krill pills. These are good for your heart. I haven't opened this one. Huh. All right. These are really good for your heart. They have, omega-3s in them, I think? Yeah, multi-benefit omega-3s, krill pills. Get these at Walmart. You can get them in a box of 2 for $30. The one good thing about these is they don't taste like fish oil, because they're not fish oil, they're krill oil, okay? It's a gel. So I take 4 of these a day for my circulation. These are Force Factor Modern Mushroom Pills, and normally I only take, well, I'm going to get to this one, but I take 4 of these, between 3 and 4 of these a day. Today I'm taking 4. This is lion's mane mushroom, and this shit is powerful. And you don't need to, at least in my case, I don't need to take any more than 1 of these a day. And this is a gummy. Okay, now people would say, well, you're on a fast, dude. You can't take that. Well, you know what? Sorry, I'm taking that. There's that, okay? I keep moving this forward. This is the iodine. I'll be taking that in a minute. All right, this is B12. This is just something that we had in the cabinet. B12 is good for you. So I'm taking one of those a day. That's a little orange pill right there. There's a whole range of B vitamin pills. Whole pills that have a whole range of B vitamins. B vitamins are real good for mental acuity and for people who suffer through depression. Most of these B vitamins are water soluble, which means you don't keep them, but they're real important to your mental outlook. I used to take a pill called a stress tab, which was nothing but B vitamins with a bunch of other stuff. It's really good for you. Kelp. This is iodine. I have to tell you, iodine is the most used nutrient in the world. It's something we need. It's something we're not told about. And I just found that out by accident about a year ago. Thank God for YouTube. YouTube actually saved my fucking life. So this is kelp. This is a natural form of iodine, sea kelp. I'm going to take one of these right there, okay? Because it comes from a certain source. It's a certain different chemical makeup of iodine. This is another one here. This has iodine from kelp in it also, but it also has iodine from two different other sources. So triple iodine complex. So I'm taking one of these. Yes, I'm overdosing on iodine. Oh my God. See that right there? That's what it looks like. It's not a hard encased pill. I had a calcium pill. It was calcium, magnesium, and zinc, I think it was, from Spring Valley. And that thing was hard as a rock. And I think during my last fast, that's what I was taking that, and I think that's what might have caused one of my bowel pain situations. This is selenium. Now this and this go together. This iodine, you can take a lot of it with no problem. When I first took it, I took 80 times the dose by accident. Not too smart. Blessings of God. This iodine won't mess you up. This shit you gotta be careful with. Your body uses selenium to process the iodine, but it doesn't need a bunch of this selenium. The selenium builds up, you have to be careful. I only take one of these a day. I'm very careful about that. As a matter of fact, if I have a question whether I took it or not, I skip it. That's another thing about all of this pills I'm taking right here. And this is chromium. Chromium is good for your blood. It's real good for your blood sugar. Chromium, your body uses chromium to manipulate the sugar in your blood so your body can process it. It's really good for anybody who's a diabetic. But if you ever take chromium and you're a diabetic, you need to be very careful because it will drop your blood sugar. Okay? You just gotta be careful. You gotta be watching your shit. Okay? Any diabetic needs to watch their shit, but especially if you're taking chromium. And this is magnesium, I think it is. Yeah, magnesium. Albion magnesium. It's processed so your body can use it. And that's what we got right there. So I'm going to move all this way. That's pretty much what I take all day. All day. That's what I take all day. I take this all day. Derp. But everything starts with this right here. So I get this Cotage iodine from GNC. I usually buy 2 bottles of it. It's like $27 a bottle. But I buy 2 bottles of it. Now this is the daily recommended dose right here. That's it right there. 1 drop is the daily recommended dose of this. That's what they recommend. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. Okay. I take that twice a day. I take it in the morning and I'm taking it at night. And I notice a difference when I take it at night. Oh, I also have a spot on my chest. I rub it on the spot on my chest here too. Seems to be helping that too. But this right here, if I did not find this particular product, I'd be on thyroid medicine from a pharmacy right now. And I've watched my sister-in-law be absolutely devastated by whatever medicine they were putting her on for her thyroid problem. I mean, absolutely devastated. They destroyed that woman's quality of life with whatever the hell thyroid medicine they were using. So, as long as I can use this and this, I mean, my neck is down. It's not swollen. It doesn't hurt. I'm like, what? Thank you, God. That's what I always say. You know, you see it on my videos. I'm always saying, I'm always thanking God. I was going through my days. Yesterday, I went to a job. My boss is in Colorado, and we had to put this 90-inch piece of glass, which is about as long as this table right here. A 90-inch piece of glass, about 14 inches tall. It only weighed about 10 pounds. And the way you put this on the top of a panel frame is you take the pieces off the side, and then there's some bolts that slide in the underside of this glass panel piece, because it's got a metal channel that's glued to the bottom of it. You put these bolts in the bottom of it, you line them up with the holes, put it down, you put a washer, and then you put a bolt, and you tighten it up on the 3 bolts. It only 10 pounds, but boy, oh boy, did my customer freak out. She was like, that is a violation of our company's safety rules. You cannot do this by yourself. I was like, oh, it only weighs 10 pounds. It weighs 10 pounds. I can put the 3 bolts in. I can measure the holes on top of the panel. I can slide the bolts where they go. I can get it up where it's got to go. I just move the bolt a little bit on each one. Put her down. Get it. That is a violation of our safety rules. I was like, oh shit, oh no. So we happen to have another company that is a contractor that we've used in the past that was down there at the time. And it's somebody, I actually worked for this company back a long time ago. But they're good people. They're just as hardcore customer driven as my company is. But my customer was like, I got 7 guys here. They can help you put the glass on. And I was like going, well, they're a different company though, and they're not involved in this. I don't know. She said, I think I need to ask them. And I said, okay, well, I called my boss out in Colorado, and I told him, I said, hey, well, I said, don't you have some people with you? I said, nah, I don't think, I didn't ask, because we're actually in the warehouse of the people who were supposed to send 2 guys to help me, but apparently the word just didn't get to them, and I was on the job alone. Well, anyway, this lady got these 2 of their guys to come install this piece for me, and that's what they did. They installed it. I didn't install it, because they live this product. They live it. They built like 3,000 stations in that location with the same kind of glass on it. So this guy walked up. I asked him, I said, so you guys have done this before, right? And she laughed, and he looked at me like I was stupid, and I went, oh. I had to ask that question. I said, look, I'm going to step out the way. Since you guys know what you're doing, you can use my tools, and I'll just step out the way. He said, well, I'll tell you what. He says, I'll put it up if you clean it. I said, hell yeah, I'll clean it. No problem. I'll clean up the mess too. Don't worry about it. So I stepped back the way. They put this 90-inch piece of glass up, and they had to fight the bolts, and I was surprised. But they got it figured out, and the manufacturer didn't send a piece of trim on the end of it, which is a piece of trim that covers where that metal, where the glass comes out by the metal. There's a little piece of plastic snaps on there so it looks right, and they didn't send it. Well, he said, look, we got that piece of trim down in stock. So we went from kind of a little emergency, kind of what was going to be, it was going to be challenging to put that glass on by myself, but I got it done, to me getting to watch 2 professionals put that piece of glass on and get that piece of trim on, and my customer was happy. And you know, I don't believe in coincidence. I just don't. I just don't believe in coincidence. I believe shit happens for a reason. And all the way out in that parking lot, I was saying, thank you, God. I appreciate it. I appreciate the help. And man, it looks like they already ate all the sunflowers off the table. God, they must have been hungry. But it worked out. That day worked out. Yesterday worked out. That was very cool. And so we've been sort of just going through, I mean, not me. My boss has been going through a rough patch. But I've just been trying to not be in the middle of it, just trying to be as helpful as I can to him. As I said before, he doesn't want to be subjected to any, he doesn't want to hear it. He doesn't need you to feel sorry for him. His wife doesn't need you to feel sorry for him. If you want to help him, just shut your mouth and do your job. And that's what I've been doing, you know. So here we go. This is that lion's mane mushroom. This stuff, when I first started taking this, as I always do, I took too much of it. I took 4 of them, and boy, it bottom lined my freaking depression like you wouldn't believe. I was like, son of a bitch, can I even take this shit? But I backed off the dose to the 1 pill. And it actually does help. But I will say one thing. Both of these mushroom products work wonders for my lower intestines. I mean wonders. I mean, I didn't know I had that problem, but my guts, my bowels, my lower intestines, the ability to take a good dump without straining and all that kind of stuff was greatly improved by these mushroom pills. Something nobody ever talks about. Well, I'm going into the fasting mode now, which started last night at 12 o'clock. And what are you doing? She's digging in the daggone pizza box. There's nothing in there for you, knucklehead. But they do help. They help insides. They help your insides work, which I'm just very surprised. Now these are these mushroom pills, these right here. And something that really pissed me off was this brand right here, Spring Valley.